So here's a part of my beautiful family. Not all of them, I'm afraid, but I'm going to cross out all the faces that are not Muslim. That's right, I'm the only Muslim man in my family, and I get asked very often, what is it like by Muslims as well as non-Muslims? I belong to a special kind of category of people where I am the only person that is actually Muslim in their own family. So it's a great cultural shock as well as difference into my everyday life, into how I deal with them and all of that, especially during Ramadan. So I thought I would make this video because it's been a few years since I started, and I thought maybe somebody with the same trajectory as me but a few steps behind, maybe they just took their shahada, is undergoing changes in their life and they are a bit lost. Maybe my lifestyle and my experience can offer some guidance. And due to the amount of people asking me everywhere, I thought, you know what, I'll make a video about it. At least that's the main reason behind this video. But if you're curious, simply that, and you're not necessarily in the same situation as me, I still welcome you with wide open arms, and I hope you enjoy the video. I can only tell you my POV, and it looks something like this. Getting through your day and hearing all of a sudden a call to prayer and then adhering to it. So what you do throughout it is, well, before it, you clean up your prayer place. So this is my room. It was kind of untidy before. I didn't do a before and after photo, but like now it's clean, you know, blah blah blah, roomed, hoovered. I'm gonna pray here, pointing like that towards the Mecca. And yeah, just perform wudu, which is the body cleaning process that you do before you pray. There is a step-by-step process where you clean your hands and then your forearms and then your face and then your mouth and then your nose and then your hair and then your ears and then your feet. As of currently, as I'm performing wudu, I'm not even cleaning my ears, but that's because I've injured them and I've got a perforated eardrum and I must not let any water get inside. And unlike the public misconception, my God, Allah, the only God, is the most forgiving and the most understanding. So when you have something like this or an illness, you don't have to do all of these things. Anyway, I have some sort of a widget on my phone, and whenever the adhan, call to prayer, goes off, I stop whatever I'm doing to go perform salah, which is the word for prayer. One of the things about the call to prayer that's so great is that if you start wasting a lot of time on your phone or you get sidetracked, this is a daily refresher that will snap you out of it. I've been on this for like maybe 15 minutes. 15 minutes that I could have been doing something more productive. But thanks to the call to prayer and getting back on track, that 15 minutes did not extend to an hour. Now I'm going to pray and carry on doing some work and reset my brain. Now we are suggested in the Quran to perform salah with a pleasant voice. So often at times you will hear somebody praying in a way that's kind of like a song, but you can't just take the piss or mess about. This is a serious ritual, right? So you're not gonna hit some vocals like an R&B singer talking about some Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. But rather, you know, if you put too much emphasis on the actual singing itself, you're going to forget to focus on the prayer. So you have to let it flow naturally, but still with a pleasant tone. Something like this. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. When the prayer is over, you do something called dua. And when you make dua, it's when you ask Allah for things to get better in your life. The thing about this is that it is preferred for you to do it in Arabic, right? It is suggested. With whatever amount of Arabic you've learned, here's me doing it. At the end of the day, Allah knows best what you're asking for, so don't worry if you make little mistakes and you're just learning Arabic. زوجتي وتعطيني زوجها إن شاء الله يعني آمين. Now you may wonder, why do I have to do it in Arabic? Isn't this like lacking inclusivity? Well, Allah knows best the reason. But if you ask me for my opinion on why I think it is, well, I can very easily give you my opinion. My opinion is that if you do it in Arabic, it's not your first language if you're a revert like me. So you do it a lot more consciously, you're thinking about doing it, so you ask and you're more focused on the prayer and the dua. As well as the fact that this will push you to try to learn more Arabic. If you learn more Arabic, you will understand the Quran in its actual language better. And if you understand the Quran better, in its original language better, you will understand the word of Allah better. Also, I didn't get to record the Fajr prayer, unfortunately, very unfortunately, because my alarm lately, like every few days, it doesn't wake me up. I don't know if I'm very tired or what it is, but I don't wake up. But the Fajr prayer is before the sun even rises. And typically in my day, I will be reading the Quran as this happens. If I can't do it in the morning, I try to do it after another prayer at another time. But yes, every day in this month, I am reading a little bit of the Quran, and it is wonderful. I love deepening my spirituality and trying to read in between the lines more and more. But at the end of the day, I do understand that things are just my interpretation, and no one but Allah knows the true meaning of what is in the Quran. There's something very beautiful and almost magical about reading the Quran before the sun rises, when the world is still silent and you cannot hear a voice. It also propels you to start your day with already small wins and with a better mood. Now as a revert, you may be freaking out and you may be confused. I'm fasting. Should I be still doing physical exercise? How should I sleep? Whatever. Well, the whole point of Ramadan is that it's different from the rest of your months. You have to undergo some sort of sacrifice and hardship. So you can't just do absolutely nothing. You have to make yourself be active in one way or another. And if you are active in your normal life, even more so, like you can't just not be active because it's Ramadan when you're normally active. After all, you're not trying to make it easier. This is again my personal opinion, right? But I see a lot of Muslim people do this where they change their life in a way that makes Ramadan a lot easier. But it's not about surviving Ramadan, but about experiencing it. And you experience Ramadan by experiencing the difficulties that come alongside it. If you just sleep all day, right, like a sis, I'm not judging, I'm just saying, like, this is not what I believe to be right. If you sleep all day, and then you are up all night, the time where you eat, right, and you don't do exercise and all this stuff to save more energy, what are you even doing? That's not Ramadan, that's no nothing, like, anyway. And in a likewise manner, that you decide that you're not going to be lazy and skip the gym, you're not going to be lazy and postpone things that need to be done. Clean your house, clean your kitchen, keep everything tidy. At least that's my approach to it. Even here in the bathroom, there are tiles on the floor that needed to be removed because of the water, blah blah. I'm not going to bore you with the details. Well, I was working all morning on solving this matter in my house. I have this thing, right, that I've got in my room that I look at all the time. And in Ramadan, it's something that I try to even increase more. So it's a list of 3 things that I want to have more of. 2 things I want to decrease, and 1 thing I want to completely get rid of. As a revert, for me, that I'm all alone, there's no one to share it with, I take Ramadan in a very spiritual and a very self-improvement manner. So even in my thoughts, I try to abstain from that bad deeds, and I try to increase every good deed that I do. As a Muslim revert, this might be the type of Ramadan that you're looking for and that you're trying to accomplish. Bear with me and we'll talk more about that. The way that I tackle it is Ramadan is a month of great spiritual growth and self-improvement, where I try to devote myself more to Allah. You may not even be a person of faith in general watching this video. All I'm gonna say is, in that case, replace Allah with whatever is befitting of your own lifestyle. It's a month or like a period of time that you may appoint to yourself where you try to become better, where you try to become healthier, when you try to grow as a person, where you put your phone down and you go out in the sunlight to read a little more often, when you try to be a bit more natural and maybe abstain from so much machinery. I mean, in this month of Ramadan, I was very addicted as we started to my phone, and I used the perfect excuse of Ramadan. For me, it's a perfect excuse. It is what it is. To completely get rid of it and look at my screen time. It is also a month where you increase the productivity in your normal actions. You don't mess about or fuff about as nearly as much. It is not only a month of growth in every single aspect of your life, but it's also a month of exponential growth. I mean, you're making everything so much more optimized. Look at my meal prep, for example. The sun is very clearly still shining. Why am I gonna cook all of this? Meal preparation. You see this? Now, that was probably the worst transition you've seen in your life, but that's besides the matter. So right here I've prepared food, right? I'm just about to put it all in the hob, and that's going to amount for all the food that I will eat today. I'm not sure if you are at all interested, but you should, if you are cooking something like this and doing a meal prep, you should do them on the pan, the chicken at least, the meat, before putting it there to boil for hours. So now I've got this right here, and I'm just going to close the lid. An hour and a half before I have to break fast, I'm going to come back, put the rice inside. It's going to absorb all the water. I'm going to have a delicious, healthy, nutritious meal ready for me. If I want to repeat and have another meal, that's fine too. Because there's quite an amount in here. When I put the rice and it absorbs the water, etc., there'll be way over 1 kilo in total of food that I'll be taking in. So that's plenty for the day. Now again, for my Muslim brothers and sisters, I know that it's hard to go from a lifestyle where you enjoyed the pleasures of this world and now you're trying to become more pious and of better character. You may be hard on yourself and frown upon yourself for not being perfect, for not doing all of your prayers, for not eating halal meat, for having bad thoughts, for not lowering your gaze, for listening to music, and for all of the like. As I said at the beginning, this video is primarily for my brothers and sisters who are reverts. So I do not care about the opinion of others, for you do not understand our journey and I am talking directly to them. Little by little is your path. If you're not perfect now, do not let others beat you down about it. Do not change who you are if it's only to appear good in the eyes of other Muslim people who may be rejecting you and saying, oh, how could you do this? Only seek to please Allah. And when you are ready to make the transitions, make the transitions. For example, recently I started to buy halal meat. It is not always, not 100% of the time that I eat halal meat, but it is a whole lot more often than 0% of the time. I'm making these advancements little by little. Music, I listen to less music. Lowering my gaze, I either look down or super up wherever I go now, and this is something beautiful. I feel a lot better about it. Pornography, things of the like, all of this is just slowly living my life completely. And I get it, some of these things you should not do to begin with, I know, but it is hard to go from life A to life B and not have some, stumbles along this path. I understand it completely. You have nothing but my empathy and my encouragement. And remember, the most beautiful thing is to do it for Allah, for Allah's sake. And what I like most about Islam in general is the whole point and the whole concept of intention. Your intention is what matters. Your intention is what is valued. You could try your best, right, and fail miserably. But if your intentions were noble, who am I to criticize you? You are a saint. I cannot say anything bad to you, for you had the intentions to be good. And I hope you continue to be the way that your heart really is, and that you continue to reflect that upon the world. For the way that you are is beautiful. Do not let Muslims or non-Muslims say that you're some sort of hypocrite, that you're not following your religion or whatever. You're doing what you can, but just keep on doing a little better as often as you can, just 1% better every day. For me, Ramadan is not some sort of lock-in monk mode month. It is more for self-development, and if you've been following me for some time, you know my advice in all of this self-improvement is not like the usual one about people are holding you back, cut them out, lock in, shut the world out. No, I reflect this even in Ramadan, which is meant to be the most important month for me to become a better man. I still spend time with my friends. I still enjoy myself with them. But I am without excuses, not neglecting my daily duties in contrast to the normal attitude I may have of getting out of bed late, or falling for temptation of very bad content, or simply spending a lot more time on my phone, like I showed you earlier with my screen time, than before. So if you look at everything, it's not like Ramadan is a month for you to lock in, right? It's not like it's a month for you to try your very hardest in like a broad term. It's more of a month, like as a revert, where I try to be as real to the man that I believe would make Allah proud. So a man that's totally free, with a lot of freedom in his heart, with a lot of passion in his walk, with a lot of joy in his day. So as a Muslim revert, this is what Ramadan looks like in a nutshell for me. Make sacrifices for the sake of Allah, which really only benefit you. I mean, you heal your body with fasting and heal your mind with better habits and abstaining from certain things, which yes, you should cut out full stop anyway from your life, but you're doing your best and you're asking for forgiveness until you overcome some of these addictions. Now, for any reverts out there, I know it may feel lonely. You know, you see other Muslim families celebrating together, you may have some Muslim friends, and you see how all the family gets together and you're out here alone. You have nobody to really understand what you're going through, to support you, and it's a very lonely time. You should seek to be with others and all that, to be honest, but at the beginning I also really cared. The first time, the second time I did Ramadan, being all alone, not celebrating, going to the mosque, but then going back home where nobody was waiting for me, nobody was fasting with me. I understand, and I understand that it's lonely. But it's going to the point that I don't really care anymore, to be honest. Sure, I was upset the first time, and the second time still very upset. But I start to remember Allah more and more. And I start to remember that it is for Allah that I do all of this, not for the company or solidarity or anything like that. It's all for Allah. And every year that comes along, every Ramadan that comes along, is an amazing opportunity for self-development for me. It's a self-improvement opportunity that you and I can seize. Even if you're not Muslim, some of my non-Muslim friends have done it, and great months for them in terms of work ethic and of the like. So whether you are rivet or not, if you're a rivet, please do it. If you're not a rivet, I encourage you to try it anyway. And don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers, my brothers and sisters. Very different video. I hardly speak about my own faith. It's a very private relationship I keep with Allah. But many questions and many conversations that I've shared recently led me to want to make this video. And I thought maybe it can give a push to somebody out there. So hopefully that worked. Start to be 1% better every day. And much love. But you know what? Since this is a special video, let's do it differently. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.